Hey there, how there, ho there. It's Jeff Kodadabe. Welcome me to a brand new Stone Cold Hockey playoffs. We have the 2022-23 Tournament of Champions. So whoever is top 3 gets to join other teams involved. A quick recap. The 65 tournament, Detroit were the winners over Montreal, with Toronto getting 3rd place. 1968, Boston beat Montreal, with Minnesota taking 3rd, the North Stars. 71, the Rangers beat Montreal, with Chicago taking 3rd place. 75, Buffalo beat Boston, with Montreal taking 3rd place. 84, Buffalo beat Minnesota, with Philly taking 3rd. Minnesota North Star scores. Pittsburgh beat LA in 91, with Chicago taking 3rd. New York beat Detroit, with Hartford taking 3rd. Calgary beat Detroit, with Edmonton taking 3rd in 06. 2012 tournament, Phoenix beat Colorado, with Boston taking 3rd. And 2022, Colorado beat Dallas, with New York taking 3rd place. So, seeding is very important because it determines from 1 to 32 who you face in the final 32 team tournament. So anyway, everyone is on board for 22-23. It will be best of 5 until the final, when it will be, well, semis, when it will be best of 7. So you'll be playing 29 games at maximum. So anyway, game 1 of Washington San Jose sees Washington win 4-1 as Darcy Kemper beats Cahokin. San Jose goes by Mike Ferraro, but Washington goes Tom Wilson, Anthony Mantha, Sonny Milano, and Ovi. Winnipeg, Florida. How did Winnipeg do game 1? They lose to Florida. Bobrovsky beats Hellebuck. Florida goes by Matthew Tkachuk with 2. Sam Bennett, Carter Verhagen, and Aaron Ekblad with the others. Winnipeg goes Mark Scheifele, Kyle Connor, Mike Scheifele. Boston Columbus game 1 saw Boston win 3-2 as Swayman beats Merskins. Columbus was up 2-0 on goals by Chainikov and Peak, but Pavel Saka with 2 goals, Patrice Bergeron with 1. So, man, Saka grew. Arizona, Los Angeles. LA wins 5-4 as Phoenix Copley beats Connor Ingram. Ironic because Phoenix being Phoenix. LA goes by Lassat, Ante Kopitar, Matthew Waugh, Kevin Fiala, and Kopitar again. Arizona goes by Nick Schmaltz, Braden Hayden, Logan Krause, and then Hayden, his second. Battle of Canada, Vancouver, Montreal. Montreal wins in overtime. Montembeault beats Spencer Martin. Vancouver goes by Kuzmenko, Dries, Elias Pettersson, and Quinn Hughes. Montreal goes by Nick Suzuki, Joe Armiel, Suzuki again, Kirby Dach, and overtime power play with Burles in the box. Josh Anderson from Pitlick and Dock. Vegas, Colorado. Colorado wins 5-3 as Georgiev beats Thompson. These two teams did they battle in the semifinal? I think they did last year. But anyway, they have to play the first round this year. Vegas goals by Jack Eichel, Jonathan Marchessault, and Brett Howden. Colorado goal by Nico Rantanen, Lars Eller, Valerie Nikolution, Andrei Kopitar, Andrew Cogliano, and Rantanen again. Detroit beat Chicago 4-1 as Dalek loses to Nedeljkovic. Jonathan Toews did score for Chicago, but Detroit goes by Rasmussen, Soderblom, and 2 by Dylan Larkin. How did the Leafs do game 1? They lose in on overtime. Joseph Woll versus Matt Murray, and he loses. No, that's not Matt Murray. That can't be Matt Murray, because Toronto had Matt Murray. Toronto goes by Michael Bunting, Willie Nylander, Kelly Yamcroc, and Matt Marner. Dallas goes by Mason Marchment, Wyatt Johnston, Ruby Hintz, and then in overtime, Kitchener's Radek Faksa from Heiskanen with Tavares in the box. Yeah, I had to. Yeah, it says Matt Murray. But Matt Murray played for Toronto. He's still with Toronto, isn't he? Regardless, St. Louis beat Pittsburgh 8-5 as Casey DeSmith lost to Jordan Binnington in a 13-goal battle. Gensel, Suker, Archibald, Malkin, and Letang for Pittsburgh. St. Louis goes by Neighbors, Robert Thomas, Colton Parayko, Buchnevich, Verana, Rosen, Verana again, and then Braden Shen. What a wild game. Meanwhile, Carolina beat New Jersey 3-1. Kochikov beats Blackwood. New Jersey go by Jack Hughes, but Carolina, Derek Stepan, Jake Martinuk, and Sachnikov. To the bottom half. That can't be right. Oh, I've done 5. Okay. To the bottom area, Calgary, Minnesota. Calgary lost in overtime as Fleury beat Vladar. Calgary goes by Dylan Dubé and Tyler Tivoli, but then Minnesota 3 straight. Frederick Goudreau, Erickson Eck, and Matt Boldy. Rangers Buffalo. Rangers win at home 4-3. It was close. Devin Levi loses to Shishirkin. Buffalo goes by Casey Middlestad, Tage Thompson, and Sigrid Gregersons. Ranger goes by Mika Zibanejad, Capo Kako. Kako again, and then Vinny Trocheck. Tampa Philly game 1 sees Tampa win 6-2. On a goal by Vasilevsky beats Carter Hart. Philly goes by Joe Farabee and Willie Allison. Tampa goes by Nick Paul, Braden Point, Paul Point, Stamkos, and Hedman. Ottawa Edmonton, the Battle of Canada. Edmonton wins 2-1 as Stuart Skinner beats Cam Talbot. Ottawa go by Jake Sanderson, but Zach Hyman and Koskin scoring for the Oilers drops. Nashville beats Anaheim 4-1. Saros beats Stolars. Anaheim go by Jones, but then Nashville score 4 straight in the third period. Sherwood, and then 2 goals by Philip Forsberg and Evangelista. That's not Linda. I think his name is Lee. And finally, the Islanders beat Seattle 3-2 as Farland beats Grubauer. Seattle goes by Darren Sprong and Ryan Donato. Islander goes by Brock Nelson with 2 and Noah Dobson. Game 2's Winnipeg versus Florida. Florida wins 1-0 and now 1 win away. Bobrovsky beats Hellebuyck. Great performance. Verhaeghe was the only guy to score a goal. Poor Winnipeg. I feel for them. Boston beats Columbus, so they're 1 win away from the next round. Swayman beats Burskins. Peak and Marchenko for Columbus. Boston goes by Loco, Charlie Coyle, David Pastrnak, and Patrice Bergeron. LA beats Arizona. They're up 2-0 now. Corpusalo, who Columbus traded away, beat Femjamka. McBain for Arizona, but Matt Watt and Kevin Fiala were the goal scorers for the Kings. Vancouver on Prolongation against Montreal, so they tied the series. Demko beats Jake Allen. Montreal goals by Nick Suzuki, Kirby Doc, Joe Armia, and Kovacevic. Vancouver goes by Anthony Bouvallier, Elias Patterson, Ilya Mikheyev, and Mikheyev again, who the Leafs let go. And in overtime, 49 seconds, Connor Garland from Pedersen and JT Miller. Washington beats San Jose 5-2 to go up 2-0. Kemper beats Cajonen. Couture banning the goal scorers for the Sharks. Kuznetsov, Milano, Wilson, Dylan Strome, and Ovi with the goals for the Capitals. St. Louis, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh wins. They'll split the first 2 games. Tristan Jarry beats Binghamton. Pittsburgh was up 3-0. Joseph, Jeff Carter, and Jason Sucker scored. And St. Louis scored 3 straight. Pavel Buchnevich, Justin Falk, and Robert Thomas. But at 17:36, Kasperi Kapanen, from Malkin and Archibald won the game for Pittsburgh. Carolina is now up 2-0. Anderson beats Vanacek. Double goals by Jack Hughes and Nico Hischler, but that wasn't enough as Carolina scored 3 straight. Zach Jarvis, Snachnikov, and then in overtime, Tara Vinen from Kukiniemi and Martinuk. Sometimes I can't pronounce names well. Toronto beat Dallas 2-1, so Samsonov beats Ottinger. Dallas goal by Wyatt Johnston, but then Mike Kump. Why did I say that? David Kump and Austin Matthews, the hero for Toronto. Detroit beats Chicago. They're up 2-0 now. Husso beats Mrazek. Afanasieou scored for Chicago, but Olimata, Wallman, Lindstrom, and David Perron for Detroit. Colorado beats Vegas 4-2. They're up 2-0. Georgiev beats Quick. Vegas goes by Phil Kessel and Jonathan Marchessault, but Nico Rantanen, Evan Rodriguez, Nathan McKinnon, and Cole McCarr for Colorado. And a word of caution, Colorado does not have Landeskog on the team because Landeskog did not play that season, so I think he's not in the game. Nevertheless, Calgary, Minnesota. Minnesota again wins in overtime. They're up 2-0. Gustafsson beats Markstrom. Calgary goes by Blake Coleman and Huberdeau. Minnesota goes Marcus Foligno, Kaprizov, and then Freddie Gaudreau at 6:40 of overtime from Zuccarello and Foligno. Buffalo beat the Rangers 5-1, shocking, as Craig Anderson beat Shesterkin. Only Ranger goal, Zibanejad his second. But Buffalo goes by Victor Ellison, Rasmus Dahlin, Kyle Poso, Tage Thompson, and Dylan Cousins, 5 goal scorers. Tampa's now up 2-0 on Philly. Brian Elliott, the man who shares a birthday with me, April 9th, 1985, beat Carter Hart. Scott Lawton, the only goal for Philly, but Tampa goes Brendan Hagel, Steven Stamkos, Anthony Cirelli, and Nikita Kucherov. Ottawa beats Edmonton 7-6 in overtime. Shogard beat Jack Campbell. Edmonton goes Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid, Zach Hyman, Evan Bouchard, Matthias Janmark, and Broberg. So 6 different Oilers scored. Ottawa goes by Gambrell, Kachuk, Brady Kachuk, Thomas Chabot, Kachuk again, Bafferson, Brady Kachuk with the hat trick. And then in overtime, it's DeBrincat at 6:55 from Bafferson. Nashville now up 2-0 on the Ducks. Lincoln beats Kitchener's, John Gibson. Anaheim goes by Maxime Courtois, Jacob Silverberg, and Lundstrom. Nashville goes by Evangelista, Novak, Yossi, and Novak again. And the last game, too, saw the Cupcakes win 2-0. They're up. Well, 6-4, they're up. Sorokin beats Grubauer. Seattle goes by Jordan Eberle, Yanni Gourde, Jordan Eberle, and Jaden Schwartz. Islander goes by Matt Marcel, J.G. Pachot. Zach Parise, Mayfield, Kyle Palmieri, and then Mayfield scored his second. Time for game 3s. Does Boston sweep Columbus? Yes, they do. 5-2. Swayman beats Merskins. Boone Jenner and Johnny Gaudreau for Columbus for goals, but Boston got 5. David Krejcik, Jake DeBrusk again, Charlie Coyle, and Nozak. Florida sweeps Winnipeg 8-1. Bobrovsky beats Hellebuck. Only Winnipeg goal was scored by Adam Lowry late in the third period. 8 straight Florida goals. Sam Leinhart, Luda Steinen, Matt Kachuk, Carter Verhaeghe, Kachuk, Verhaeghe, Kachuk, Kachuk. So Matthew Kachuk put up 4 goals in that game against Winnipeg. He's now got 6. Does Washington put up the sweep? Yes, they do. 7-0. It wasn't even close. Kemper beats Reimer. Kemper with a shutout. Trevor Van Riemsdyk, Sonny Milano, Kuznetsov, Alex Ovechkin, Dylan Strome, Sonny Milano, Dylan Strome. So Milano looking good. LA, do they sweep? The answer is no. Arizona stays alive. Ingram beats Korpisalo. Arizona goes by Hayden, and then 2 goals by Logan Krause. Ante Kopitar and Alex Iafallo, the goals for the Kings. Vancouver, Montreal. Game 3 sees Montreal win 4-3 on home turf. Montembeau beats Martin. Vancouver goes by Elias Patterson, Kuzmenko, and JT Miller. Montreal goes by Mike Matheson, Joe Harris, I guess? I don't know. Joel Armia, and Cole Caulfield with the winner. Dallas and Toronto sees Toronto lose 2-0 on home ice. Ottinger with the shutout. Dellandrea and Rube Hintz with the goals for Dallas. Man, I hate that so much. St. Louis, Pittsburgh. It will be Pittsburgh. They'll take the 2-1 series lead. Jerry beats Hoffer. St. Louis goes by Brandon Saad, both of them. Malkin with 2 goals. Ricard Racal for Pittsburgh. What's the winner? Carolina does not sweep. The Devils win. Vanis Jack with the shutout. Dougie Hamilton, Frederick Sutherland, Jesper Bratt, and Andre Palat, all with their first goals of the postseason, doing their jobs. Detroit sweeps Chicago. Husso beats Wells. Chicago Johnson, but Detroit goes by Rasmussen, Alex Chason, and Ben Chariot. Vegas, Colorado. Does Colorado sweep? The answer is no. Vegas stays away. Aiden Hill beats Georgiev. Vegas goes by Mark Stone, Jonathan Marshall, and Kolsar. Colorado goes by Mikko Rantanen and Devin Tays. Minnesota, did they sweep Calgary? Yes, they do. 6-1. Gustafsson beats Markstrom. Only Calgary goal was by Rashika in the third period. Zuccarello, Boldy, Eriksson, Gaudreau, Zuccarello, and Foligno with the goals for Minnesota. Rangers, Buffalo. It will be the Rangers taking the 2-1 series lead. Shizurkin beats Lukanen. Took overtime, but Buffalo goals by Freddy Hinastria and Rasmus Dahlin. Ranger goals Jacob Truba, Mika Zibanejad, and then overtime Zibanejad from K. Andre Miller and Adam Fox. Tampa sweeps Philly as Vasilevsky beats Sandstrom. Philly goals by Kevin Hayes and Travis Konecki. Tampa goals Andy Cirelli, Victor Hedman, Brandon Hagel, Sergeyev, and Steven Stamkos. Ottawa Edmonton, it will be Edmonton taking the 2-1 series lead. Overtime for Jack Campbell against Anton Forsberg. Ottawa goes by Tim Stützle, Drake Barferson, and Shane Pinto. Edmonton goes by Warren Fogle, Daryl Nurse, Connor McDavid, and then Nugent Hopkins in overtime from McDavid and J-Mark. Does Nashville sweep Anaheim? No. Anaheim wins on home turf. Stosto beats Saros. Nashville goes by Ryan Johansson and Cody Glass. Kevin Shattenkirk, Trevor Seacrest, and Maxime Courtois with the goals for the Ducks. And Seattle will avoid a sweep, beating the others 4-2 as Martin Jones beats Varlamov. Other goals by Cal Colorbeck and Josh Bailey. Not enough. As Tolvanen, Matt Geeky, Darren Sprong, and then Jaden Schwartz are your heroes. So on to game 4s. Arizona, LA. First up on the board, and the Kings win 5-2. Korpisalo beats Frajemka, so they're in. Arizona goes by Clinton Keller and Massieli. LA goes by Travis Moore, Lasade, Phil Deneau, Anse Kopitar, and Lasat again. Does Montreal beat Vancouver? The answer is no. Vancouver forces Game 5 back home. Demko beats Allen. Montreal goes by Kirby Doc and Cole Caulfield. Vancouver goes Kuzmenko again, JT Miller, Elias Pettersson again, and then Stanika. Carolina will not do it. The Devils win, but Carolina goes back home with a chance to win. Akira Schmid beats Freddie Anderson. Carolina goes by Brett Burns and Seth Jarvis, but Devils, Austin Mercer with 2, and Michael McLeod with the others. St. Louis, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh does not get the series win. They have to go back to St. Louis. Bennington beat Cherry. St. Louis was up 4-0 before you knew it. Goes by Robert Thomas, Neighbors, Butch Navis, and Jordan Kyrou. Kyrou and Pareko would add. Whether those Pittsburgh goals, Sid the Kid finally scoring. Ricard Raquel and Brandon Rest. Oh no, Brian Rest. Dallas beats Toronto, so the Leafs are out. The Leafs lost to Dallas in the 22 tournament. So Auditor takes down Samsonov. Austin Matthews did score, but too little too late. Dallas does it. Hubie Rentz, Jason Robertson, Joe Pavelski, Eza Lindell, and then Jason Robbins again. Colorado, do they win the series? No. Vegas will force Game 5 back home. Bruce Wild beat Vancouver's. Colorado goes by Bowen Byram, and Dennis Melgen. Vegas goes by Dorvayev, Kolsar, Shea Theodore, Chandler Stevenson, and Jack Eichel. Rangers, do they beat Buffalo? Yes, they do. 4-2. Rangers move on. Shishkin beats Anderson. Buffalo goes by Middlestad and Peterka. But Philip Cheeto and Attorney Panarin, Cheeto again, and Adam Fox ends Buffalo's campaign. Edmonton wins over Ottawa. They're in. Skinner beats Talbot. Ottawa goes by Debrincat, Pinto, Brassard, and Claude Giroux. Edmonton goes by Roger Hopkins, Daryl Ryan, Nugent Hopkins again, Connor McDavid, Ryan again, Draisaitl, and Bouchard. Game 4, Nashville will win over Anaheim 3-0. Saros beats Stolars. Saros with a shutout. Colton Sisons, Cody Glass, and Matt Duchene are your heroes. And finally, we have Seattle forcing Game 5 3-1. Grubauer beats Sorokin, but back on the island. Others go with JG Pacho, but Jared McCann with 1, Jordan Eberle with 2. So a lot of Game 5s. We have 5 Game 5s. Carolina, New Jersey, Game 5 saw Carolina win, so all the home teams won. Carolina, Ronta beats Blackwood. New Jersey goes by Dougie Hamilton and Jack Hughes, not enough, as Carolina had Jared Van Eyden, Jasper Fast, Jake Martinick, and Ahoka. Pittsburgh, St. Louis, and Pittsburgh will go on. The Casey Distributes Binghamton. Good news for Crosby and Co. Bujnevich is fourth, but it won't be enough as Archibald, Kapanen, Malkin, and Gutzel all scored for Penguins. Vegas, Colorado. Game 5 saw Colorado win on the road 3-2 as Georgiev beats Thompson. Colorado trying to go back-to-back. Vegas goes by Chandler Stevenson and Cotter not enough as Mikko Rantanen, Andrew Cogliano, and Dennis Malkin were the heroes for the Avalanche. Islanders do win Game 5 at home. Sorokin with a shutout, Dobson and Palmieri with the goals. And finally, Vancouver, Montreal, which Canadian team is moving on to the second round. It will be the Canucks in overtime. Spencer Martin beats Montembeault. Montreal goes by Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, Bissell, and Harvey Pinard. Vancouver goes by Brock Besser, Carl Garland, Kuzmenko, Poskolen, and in overtime, Drake Joshua from Pedersen and Hughes. And the Canucks will move on. Sweet 16 time. We have Florida versus the Islanders. We have Washington, Nashville, Detroit, Vancouver, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Rangers, Edmonton. That's tough. Dallas, Tampa, Boston, Carolina, and LA, Colorado. So only 2 Canadian teams in the next round. Best of 5. First match, Florida Islanders. Florida wins 4-2. Bobrovsky beats Sorokin. Islander goes by Anders Lee and Brock Nelson. Panthers goes by Nick Cousins, Colin White, Ryan Lomberg, and Ludus Starnin. Washington, Nashville, Game 1 sees Washington win 3-1. Kemper beats Sarles. Tomasino for Nashville, but goes by 2 goals by Sonny Milano. Boy, oh boy. And Dylan Strome. Canucks lose 5-2 in Game 1 to Detroit. Najalovic beat Colin Delia. Vancouver goes by JT Miller and Drake Joshua. By Detroit goes Lucas Raymond, Hronek, Wallman, Larkin, Wallman. Minnesota shuts out Pittsburgh 4-0. Marc-Andre Fleury shutting out his former team. Klingberg, Spurgeon, Reeves, and Duhaime scoring those goals for Minnesota. And they all had their first. John Klingberg. Rangers Edmonton, Game 1 sees the Rangers win 5-3 as Halak was in net against Jack Campbell. Edmonton goals, Ryan McLeod, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and then Nugent-Hopkins again. Ranger goals, Anteri Panarin, Finny Trocheck, Panarin again, Zibanejad, and then Barclay Goodrow. Dallas Tampa, Dallas in overtime, Ottinger beats Vasilevsky. Tampa goes by Russ Colton, Braden Point, and Alex Killorn. Wyatt Johnson, Ruby Hintz, Miller in an overtime power play with Perpex in the box. Ruby Hintz is 5th from Heiskanen and Mason Marchment. Boston, Carolina, Game 1 sees Boston with a shutout. Olmark takes down Ranta, DeBrusk, Saka, and Nick Foligno for Boston. And finally, we have Colorado beating LA in overtime. Frank Coors beats Phoenix Copley. LA scored Victor Arvidsson and Drew Doughty. But Devin Tays, JT Comfort, and an overtime, long overtime, Cugliano scored the winning goal from Gerard and Nikushin. Game 2, Washington, Nashville gets the start. And Nashville wins to split the first 2 games. Sarles beats Kemper. Washington goes by Trevor Van Riemsdyk, John Carlson, and Dylan Strome. Nashville goes by Cody Glass, Parson, and Cody Glass again, his 4th, and then Matt Duchene at 12:45 of overtime from Yossi and Tomasino. Despite the fact Nashville had 2 penalties in overtime, they killed them off. Vancouver beats Detroit 6-1. Silovs beats Husel, so they get a split in the first 2 games. Dylan Larkin for Detroit, but Vancouver, Drake Joshua, Ethan Bear, Dries, JT Miller, Ilya Mikhailov, and Luke Schenn. Pittsburgh beats Minnesota in overtime to split the first 2 games. Jerry beats Fleury. Pittsburgh goal by Jeff Carter. Minnesota's goal by Freddie Goudreau, but in overtime, O'Connor at 5:36 from Crosby and Heinen. Edmonton beats the Rangers 6-5 to split the first 2 games. Skinner beats Halak. Ranger goes Patty Kane, Miguel Zibanejad, Hedel, and Barclay Goodrow. Edmonton goes Connor McDavid, Zach Hyman, Leon Draisaitl, Zach Hyman. And then in overtime at 7:56, Hyman finishes a hat trick from Draisaitl and Holloway. Tampa beats Dallas to go 1-1. Vasilevsky beat Wedgwood. Dallas goes by Jason Robertson, Wyatt Johnson, Jason Robertson, Hackaba, and Mason Marchment. Tampa goes by Braden Hagel, Braden Point. Kucherov then got 2, Braden Point, his 5th. And then overtime, Stamkos his 4th from Sergachev. Boston shuts out Carolina again. They're up 2-0. Olmark beats Kochkov. Pasternak, Saka, and Krejci are your goal scorers. Colorado shuts out LA to take a 2-0 series lead. Frank Coors with the shutout this time. Evan Rodriguez and McKinnon scoring. Where are the Kitchener Rangers at? I don't know. And the others win 5-2 to split with Florida. Sorokin beat Knight. Florida goes by Matt Tkachuk and Kurt Verhaeghe. Other goes by Josh Bailey, Sean Gabriel Pachot, Anders Lee, Brock Nelson, and Kyle Palmieri. So we have only Colorado and Boston with a chance to sweep their opponents. Everything else is 1-1. Detroit crushes Vancouver 7-2 as Husel takes down Martin. Vancouver goes by Kuzmenko and Dries. Detroit goes Alex Chiasson, Larkin again. Larkin finishes a hat-trick. Hronek, Berggren, and Wallman. Minnesota beats Pittsburgh 5-1 in Game 3. Gustafsson beats Tokarski. Fuck that guy. Pittsburgh go by Getzel in the 3rd period, but that was not enough. It's Ryan Hartman, Freddie Gaudreau, Matt Baldy, Eriksson Ek, and Max Zuccarello are your goal scorers. Rangers Edmonton, Game 3 sees the Oilers win 4-1 as Skinner beats Shesterkin. Rangers go by Panarin, but not enough. It's Draisaitl, McDavid, Fogo, and then McDavid again does his job. Dallas crushes Tampa 7-2. Wedgwood beats Vasilevsky. Tampa goes by Corey Perry and Braden Point were not enough as Dallas scored Ruby Hintz, Mikko Heiskanen, Faksa. There's Kitchener scoring 2 goals. Wyatt Johnson, Hackaba, and then Evgeny Dadonov. Does Boston sweep? Yes, they do. 5-2. Carolina went through 134 minutes without scoring a goal in that series before Jordan Staal did. Svechnikov did tie it at 2 after Krejci and Nosek scored for Boston, but Boston 3 straight. Nosek, Tyler Bertuzzi, and Pasternak. Does Colorado sweep? The answer is no. LA wins 4-3. Copley beats Frank Coors. Colorado goes by Cole Makar, Dennis Malkin, and Jack Johnson. Kings goes by Victor Arvidsson, Okayev, Adrian Kempe, and Victor Arvidsson again. Game 3s, the Islanders won 2-1 in overtime. They're up 2-1. Sorokin beats Bobrovsky. Verhaeghe scored for Florida, but the Islanders got 2 straight goals. Salo and then Bo Horvat showed up from Pachot and Fasching. Nashville wins 5-2 over Washington to take a 2-1 lead. Lankinen beats Lindgren. Washington goes by Tom Wilson and Matt Irwin. Nashville goes by Tyson Barrie, Parson, Cal Foote, Thomas Novak, and Matt Duchene. So all the Game 3s are done. Only 1 sweep. Game 4 of Minnesota-Pittsburgh to start. Pittsburgh wins 1-0. Tokarski, fuck that guy, beats Marc-Andre Fleury. Suker with the only goal. So we go to game number 5 in that series. Rangers beat Edmonton to force a Game 5. Halak beats Jack Campbell. Edmonton was up 2-0. Nugent Hopkins and Bouchard. But Rangers came back. Chris Kreider, Alex Lafreniere, Chris Kreider again, and then Keandre Miller. So all the Ranger goal scorers finally got goals in the playoffs. Dallas can't beat Tampa, so it's Game 5. Elliott beats Ottinger, my 4.985 soulmates. Dallas goes by Jason Robertson and Ryan Sutter. Steven Stamkos, Nick Paul, Nikita Kucherov for Tampa. Game 4, Colorado beats the Kings, so they win. Frank Coors beats Korpisalo. Kayev and Doughty with the goals. Mikko Rantanen with 2 goals. Sam Girard with 2 goals. Florida Islanders, Game 4, we'll see Florida win and force a Game 5. Sorokin loses to Bobrovsky. Islander goes by Holmstrom and Noah Dobson. Florida goes Kurt Verhaeghe 7th and Gustav Forsling. But in overtime, Matt Tkachuk his 8th. Unassisted. Nashville beats Washington 3-1. They're moving on. Saros beats Kemper. Washington go by Anthony Mantha. Boy, they've sure heard Ovechkin. Roman Yossi, Thomas Novak, and Yossi again. And the last game 4 sees Vancouver tied the series with Detroit. Martin beats Husso. Detroit goes by Rasmussen, Falano, and Rasmussen again. Vancouver goes JT Miller, Ilya Mikheyev, Drives, Drake Joshua, and Ethan Bear. So we have 5 game 7s. Well, game 5s, if you will. Tampa Dallas starts off our game 5s, and Dallas will send Tampa home. Wedgwood beats Elliott. Tampa goes by Nikita Kucherov and Pat Maroon. Dallas goes by Mikko Heiskanen, Dellandrea, and Jamie Benn is your hero for Dallas. Others Florida game 5 sees the Panthers win 1-0. Bobrovsky shuts out Sorokin, and Barkov is your hero. Pittsburgh, Minnesota. Minnesota wins 4-1. They do it. Marc-Andre Fleury sinks his former team. Minnesota gave up a goal to Jason Zucker, former Wild himself. But Eriksson Ek, Sam Steele, remember the name, Matt Zuccarello, and Ryan Hartman are your heroes for the Wild. Detroit, Vancouver. Vancouver loses, and boy did they lose, 9-2 to Detroit. Kuzmenko his 7th, Dries his 5th, but that's not all. Detroit, Lucas Raymond, David Perron, Pat Sutter, Olimata, Wallman, Dylan Larkin, Erne, and then Larkin again. So a lot of goal scoring, 9 for the Canucks. And do the Rangers take down Edmonton? The answer is yes, they do. 5-2, Shesterkin beats Skinner, and Canada will be shut out of the quarterfinals. Edmonton goes Leon Draisaitl and Zach Hyman. But the Rangers, Mikko Zibanejad, Barclay Goodrow, Braden Schneider finally putting one in, Kaapo Kakko, and then Chris Kreider iced it. We have our quarterfinals, and they are Colorado, Boston. That's interesting. Dallas, Detroit, Florida Rangers, and Minnesota, Nashville. So let's see who wins the goes to the semis. Colorado, Boston, game 1 sees the Avalanche take down Boston 5-4. Overtime winner by Georgiev and Swayman. I think that's the first time Boston's lost. But anyway, Boston goes by Gerhard Harvey, Trent Frederick, David Pastrnak, and Hannes Lindholm. Colorado goes Dennis Malkin, Attorney Lekkinen, Rantanen, and Lekkinen. But in overtime, Rantanen his 9th of the postseason from McKinnon and Lekkinen. Detroit beats Dallas 5-2 in game 1. Husso beats Ottinger. Dallas goes by Jamie Benn and Jason Robertson. Not enough. As Rasmussen, Larkin puts up 10. I think he's the first to 10 goals. Dominic Kubalik. Oh yeah, Kitchener. Berggren and Falano. Rangers beat Florida in game 1 of their series. Halak beats Bobrovsky. Rangers gave up goals to Sam Larnhard, Carter Hagee, and Ryan Lomberg, but it didn't matter. The Rangers, Chris Kreider, Panarin, Hito, Chris Kreider, and then Kakko scoring those goals. Minnesota losing to Nashville 3-2. Nashville, Lankinen beats Fleury. Kaprizov his 2nd, Ryan Hartman his 3rd, but Ryan Johansson, Tomasino, and Cody Glass were the goal scorers for Nashville. Game 2 sees Dallas beat Detroit, so it's 1-1 split. Ottinger beats Husso. Detroit goes by Sutter and Rasmussen. Dallas goes Sagan finally scoring a goal. He scored 2, and Rubik hits his 7th. Florida beat the Rangers 4-1. So, bad news. Knight beats Shesterkin. Rangers goal by Hito, his 5th. Florida goes by Matt Tkachuk, Ryan Lomberg, Anton Lundell, and Colin White. Game 2, Minnesota beats Nashville to go 1-1. Gustafsson beats Saros, shutout for him. That's Philip Gustafsson. Kaprizov, Dumba, Shaw, and Spurgeon, your heroes for Minnesota. And Boston beats Colorado, so every series is at 1-1. Ullmark beats Francouz. Colorado got Logan O'Connor scoring, but Charlie Coyle, David Krejci, Patrice Bergeron, and Hampus Lindholm scored for Boston. Game 3, Florida Rangers. Game 3 starts off, and Florida beats the Rangers 6-3. Bobrovsky beats Halak. Ranger goes by Tarasenko, Goudreau, and Panarin. Florida goes by Sam Reinhart with a hat trick in the first period. Matt Tkachuk, Aaron Ekblad, and then Tkachuk is 11th. Minnesota beat Nashville 4-1. Gustafsson beat Lankinen. Nashville did score for Phil Forsberg, but Minnesota scored Ryan Reeves, Freddie Gaudreau, Matt Boldy, and Marcus Foligno. Boston loses in overtime to Colorado. Frank Corus beats Swayman. Boston goes by Hampus Lindholm, Patrice Bergeron, Jake DeBrusk, and David Krejci. Colorado goes by Cole Makar, Nico Rantanen, Bowen Byram, Cole Makar, and then in overtime. On the power play with Lindholm in the box for clipping for 5 minutes, McKinnon scored from Taves. Dallas beats Detroit 4-3 to take that series lead. Ottinger beats Husso. Detroit, Bragrin, Kitcheners. Kubiak and Dylan Larkin is 11th, but Dallas goes by Joe Pavelski, Dennis Guriev, Wyatt Johnson, and then Kriventa. Game 4, Minnesota-Nashville. And Nashville has forced a Game 5 back in Minnesota. Saros beats Gustafsson. Nashville goes by Colton Sissons, Ryan Johansson, Cody Glass, and Phil Forsberg. Minnesota goes by John Klingberg and Jonas Brodin. Boston will force a Game 5 in Denver 3-1. Allmark beats Georgiev. Colorado did score with McKinnon, but Garrett Hathaway, Greer, and Charlie Coyle with the goals. Dallas beats Detroit. They're in the semifinals. Matt Murray beats Husso. Detroit had a 3-0 lead. Soderblom, Maurice Sider, and Alex Chiasson. But Dallas scored 4 straight. Ruby Hintz, Joe Pavelski, J.B. Benn, and Hakanpää. And the Rangers win 4-1. Shesterkin beats Lyon, making it a Game 5. Florida scored with Delpe, but Cheeto scored 2 goals. Lafreniere and Panarin doing the job. So 3 Game 7s. Nashville, Minnesota starts Game 5/Game 7. And it will be Nashville with a shutout by Lankinen over Fleury. So Nashville's in the semifinals. Duchesne, Novak, and Lauzon, or Jerry Lauzon. I don't think he was a Kitchener Ranger. But anyway. Boston beat Colorado, so they move on. Swayman meets Georgiev, so no repeat for Colorado. Colorado was up 3-0. Evan Rodriguez had 2 goals, and Mikko Rantanen had his 11th. But Boston came back. Bergeron, DeBrusk, Marchand finally scoring a goal, and Nick Foligno were the goal scorers. So Boston's in the semifinals with Dallas, Nashville, and it will be the Rangers. Shesterkin beats Bobrovsky. Florida goes by Carter Verhaeghe and Sam Reinhart. Not enough, as Sabinajak put 2 more on the board, and Alex Falk with the second goal. Now the semis are best of 7. Dallas will face the Rangers. Nashville and Boston will go toe-to-toe. So it's East versus West both ways. Wish it was Rangers, Boston, and Dallas, Nashville, because you get an East versus West matchup. Game 1 of the first matchup sees the Rangers go to Dallas and win 4-1. Shesterkin beats Ottinger. Ruby Hintz scored for Dallas, but Rangers got 2 goals by Kapokako and 2 goals by Finney Trocheck. Meanwhile, Boston beats Nashville in overtime. Olmark beats Lankinen. Jankowski scored for Nashville late. Garrett Hathaway, and then Pasternak, his 5th from Brandon Carlo at 4:47 of overtime. Game 2, Nashville-Boston sees Boston win 3-2, so they're halfway home. Swayman beats Suarez. DeBrusk, Pasternak, and Marchand for Boston. Tomasino and Glass for Nashville. Rangers beat Dallas 4-2. They're halfway home. Shesterkin beats Ottinger. Dallas goes by Kriventa and Jason Robertson. Tarasenko, Keandre Miller, Mika Sabinajak, and Jimmy Vesey putting on the empty netter. Game 3, Dallas Rangers, and Dallas goes back to New York and wins. Ottinger beats Halak. Lafreniere scored for New York, but Robertson with 2 and Sagan with 1 for Dallas. Boston wins 4-1. They're looking good. Allmark beats Saros. Nashville, Philip Forsberg scoring his 5th, but Boston got 2 from Pasternak, 1 by DeBrusk, and 1 by Krejci. Does Boston sweep? The answer is yes, they do. 3-0. Allmark beats Sarles, so Boston looking pretty good. Pasternak, Tyler Bertuzzi, and Taylor Hall, your heroes. So Boston's in the final. I think it's gonna be whoever loses Dallas Rangers will be third place. So the Rangers fans should be happy. They'll at least get third place. But they want to get in the final. Boston, I think Boston swept everybody except for one. So Boston's been basically dominant. We don't know. Game 4 sees the Rangers win 4-2. Shesterkin beats Ottinger. Lindell and Ben for Dallas. Zibanejad, Kreider, Vesey. Vesey with 2 goals for the Rangers to win the game for them. It looks like the Rangers are going to win the series. Yes, they will. 6-3, they win. Shesterkin beats Ottinger. But don't feel bad for Dallas. They will get third place. Dallas was looking to get back to the final, but yeah, Dallas will get third place and not Nashville. Dallas goes by Jason Robertson, Mikko Heiskanen, and Tyler Seguin. Ranger goes by Kapukako and Artemi Panarin, Barker Goudreau, Adam Fox, Philip Cheadle, and Mika Zibanejad his 13th. So it's Rangers Dallas in the final. Rangers Boston in the final. Boston, well, Allmark is 8 for 8. Look at that goals against. Decimal 6-5 for 3 shutouts. Unbelievable. This is 1929 numbers in 2023. Boston actually did sweep Columbus and Carolina and Nashville. So they swept 3 teams, but Colorado almost got them out. So Boston's been dominant against teams not named Colorado. Now they're going to face the Rangers, who are not that easy. David Pastrnak, 20 points. Jake DeBrusk, 13. Brad Marchand, 13. He's got 11 assists, and 13 by Lindholm. Pastrnak, 9 goals. DeBrusk, 7. Krejci, 6. Frederick Hall, AJ Greer, and Jakub Luko with just single lids. But the Rangers, Shesterkin 10-3 with 2.46 goals against average. Halak's been 3-3. Rangers have had it tough. Well, they took out Buffalo in the first round. They had to go to a 5th and deciding game against Edmonton. They could have lost that. They could have lost against Florida in the 5th deciding game, but they crushed Dallas. Panarin with 23 points. Zibanejad 20. Fox 18. Zibanejad has put up 13 goals. Panarin 8. Cheadle 8. Jacob Trouba, Braden Schneider, and Patrick Kane have only scored 1 goal each. So let's take a look. Goal scoring, Zibanejad's at 13. Only one of 5 players to hit double digits. Zibanejad's number 1 in that. Points-wise, Panarin with 23 points. He leads. Pasternak's got 20. Allmark, best goalie. Gustafsson and Fleury did well. How is Fleury 3-4, but had a 1.62 goals against average? Decimal 6.5. That's just amazing. And Shesterkin's not that high up there. He should be, but he isn't. So, yeah. That's huge. Alright, so Boston Rangers game 1 sees the Bruins win, albeit in overtime, 2-1. Allmark beat Shesterkin. Goudreau had put up his 6th. Taylor Hall his 2nd, but at overtime it was Dmitry Orlov, of all people, from Grachek. Boston, another 2-1 overtime win. Allmark beat Shesterkin. Kreider scored for the Rangers. Pastrnak then tied it up and then put up his 11 on the power play with Trouba in the box for roughing. Yami Trouba. Saka with the assist. Game 3 sees Boston all but seal their fate. So 3-0. I have no faith in that. So Boston with the big win. The Rangers, Boston 65 wins. They're going to do it. 4-1. Allmark beat Shesterkin. Cheadle scored for the Rangers. But Boston half away. Bergeron, DeBrusk, and Trent Frederick with the goals. And in game 4, 3-0. So, Allmark gave up only 3 goals in 4 games. His goals against must be decimal under 1. Charlie Coyle with 2 goals, Jake DeBrusk, and Boston sweeps the Rangers. No chance. Boston swept everyone except for Colorado. That's got to be crazy. How Boston could have easily lost to Colorado in the quarterfinals, but that was the only team that took a game off of them was Colorado. Every team. Look at that goals against. Decimal 6-7. And he had 4 shutouts. They didn't need Swayman at all. Allmark was a perfect 12 for 12. That's just amazing. What was he eating? But anyway, Boston swept Columbus. They swept Carolina. They had a tough time with Colorado. But they swept Nashville and the Rangers. That's just freaky how Boston could do that. Colorado could have easily taken them out, but Ullmark was a freaking beast. I mean, unbelievable. He's definitely the Conn Smythe winner. Because, I mean, 12-0? Dude, that's just nuts. Very much nuts. But that's just how it goes for Boston. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.